Photojournalist Susan Meisalas is an American photographer who was born in 1948 in Baltimore, Maryland. She was raised in Long Island, New York, in a middle-class family. She earned a master's degree in visual education from Harvard University in 1971, after receiving her bachelor's degree in anthropology and urban education from Sarah Lawrence College in 1970. Ms. Salas acknowledges her awareness of social issues comes from her mother, who was from the South and was part of the civil rights movement in the early 1960s. As the camera had become her tool in speaking for the world and bringing awareness to the otherwise unseen, her fight to show the truth through her photos and information has led her down a very successful and exciting life in photojournalism and human rights activism. After graduating and working as a film editor, 1970 to 71, for documentary filmmaker Frederick Wiseman, Meisalas taught photography in New York public schools and in South Carolina and Mississippi public schools as well, as an artist in residence to at-risk children from 1972 to 74. In 1975, she devoted full time to taking photos for her series on the girls' shows that formed part of traveling carnivals, which had started her on her journey of seeking the truth out in the world. She had become a member of Magnum Photos in 1976, where she transitions to a freelance photographer where she could choose her focus on human rights and activism. She has been quite successful with multiple books published with her interviews and photos, as well as been editors and other activist books. She has had one-woman exhibitions in Paris, Madrid, Amsterdam, London, Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, dedicated solely to only her photos as an art. From 1972 to 75, Susan Meisalas spent her summers photographing and interviewing women who performed strip-teases for small-town carnivals in New England, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. The book, published afterwards, had drawn from those 3 summers of work, as it includes extensive transcriptions from tape recordings she made at the time. She presents a surprisingly complex, compassionate look at these women who, by and large, are simple farm girls trying to make a living as best as they can. As Susan talks about these girls, she states, quote unquote, "The women I met ranged in age from 17 to 35. Most had left small towns, seeking mobility, money, and something different from what was prescribed as or proscribed by their lives that the carnival allowed them to leave. They were runaways, girlfriends of carnies, club dancers, both transit and professional." While the world's attention was concentrated on the flight of the Kurds, I was drawn to the places from which they came. I drove in along the same road upon which many Kurds were still fleeing. Susan Meisalas. Nearly 100,000 Kurds were said to have disappeared. After reports that mass graves had been uncovered inside the Kurdish enclave, the group Human Rights Watch sent a mission into the territory to investigate. It was an opportune moment, since no one knew just how long it would take Saddam to regain military strength and reassert control over the region. Susan Meisalas. As a photojournalist and artist, Meisalas loves to shed light on things of life that most of the public are unaware of or choose to ignore. Pandora's box is one of them. Warning: these photos are of graphic adult content of a sexual manner. quote unquote, Mistress Raven directs a staff of 14 at Pandora's Box, a 4,000 square foot high-class Manhattan S&M club that bills itself as, quote, the Disneyland of domination. Susan Meisalas. The significance of Susan Meisalas is that she was a photojournalist who showed aspects of the world no one would have seen otherwise. She showed these situations in different lights, such as the strippers, who she showed to be more down to earth and can be related to, more than women that we should have ignored, as she really also got to know her subjects. She showed their personal stories, loves, interests, and created an attachment for her viewers as they were reading. They really felt they could connect to these girls and all the rest of the people that she showed in the several books that she published. And as a human rights activist, she portrays them and her movements through her art. Her photography shows the human rights, such as the strippers as well. She's trying to show that these are women that we should be respectful towards, and that they truly deserve love more than disgrace. And as well as the Kurds, she was really showing what they as a society went through and how wrong it was and a devastating time for the race to have to really deal with that, and it's such a saddening time. And she really wanted to portray that to her viewers and have them connect and have them feel whatever she was trying to portray in her activists.